Well, welcome to our cast iron cooking. You guys just lost me. Hold on, there we go. I am Sam Thomas, and I am with Pampered Chef. And this particular cast iron cooking workshop is to benefit Alice's Kids. So Alice's Kids is actually an organization, Beth, that you introduced me to, so thank you. And it is based out of Alexandria, Virginia. I believe it's out of Alexandria, Mount Vernon. And so I'd like to talk just a little bit about the organization of who this workshop is going to benefit and why I'm doing these. So I'm doing workshops with a cause for different organizations in the area because I really think it's important to give back to different organizations and communities. And Pampered Chef's been really great to me, so I like to be able to pay that forward to these organizations that help others out in my community and around the country. So Alice's Kids is a non-for-profit organization that started about 9 years ago, I believe, and it was started by Alice Fitzsimmons, I believe was her name, her 2 children, and it is really an organization that works with people with different hardships, particularly kids, and they take money and assistance from donors like us and people that support them, and they help to financially assist children. And really what happens is they take the money and they get names of children all through word of mouth and networking, and then they give that money or gift card to the parent of that child to help them gather things that they might need, prom dresses or sign up for extracurriculars. And Beth, you might be able to speak a little more to some of the things they've done since you are directly down the street from one of the founders. Do you have anything else that you've heard that they do?
It's the little things that make a big difference. For me personally, they've helped some of my students who, when they're getting ready to graduate, they just don't have the money for their senior dues. And there's no questions asked. And it's the little things that make a really big difference. And that's what Alice's Kids does. One child at a time, they make a big difference in each of their lives. And they've made a big difference. I've seen it at school. So it's near and dear to my heart. And I appreciate what you're doing to support the community through your work with Pampered Chef.
You're welcome. And again, thank you so much for the introduction. So if you are watching this live or if you're watching the recording, again, note anything, this workshop is totally free. We hope that you take some recipes and everything, but if there's anything you see that you like or you need some new kitchen tools yourself, 20% minimum of the sales this evening will go towards Alice's Kids. So I'm super excited for this, and we're going to hopefully help impact another child or 2 with this workshop as well. So, okay, so I'm Sam Thomas. I am a director with Pampered Chef. I have been with Pampered Chef for 6 years now. Can you believe that, Beth? You were one of my first parties, so.
Oh, I didn't know that. That was one of your first.
Yeah.
I know it was a very successful party.
Yeah. So it's been a whirlwind. Little bit of background story. I'm a speech language pathologist trained. I have 3 kids, and I have pretty much moved into doing Pampered Chef full time to be able to stay at home with the little ones and work a home business alongside of helping my kids with virtual school or just being home. So I know it's been a whirlwind. I see Erin shaking her head like it's crazy changes. So I'm really excited. The reason I continue to do Pampered Chef is because I am really passionate about cooking, and I think it's super important to enable families and people in general to be able to have ideas and inspiration to make mealtime special, make mealtime something that happens around their kitchen table for their own families and friends. And especially during a time of the pandemic, so many people are eating at home, and there's so many people coming back to their kitchen, and you have these tools and you're like, I don't know how to use these. Or Beth, like you were talking about, you got your cast iron handed down to you, and how do you use a tool like that that's been a legacy piece, and really cast iron's been around forever. And it's a really, really fabulous tool to use in the kitchen, but not everybody knows how to use it. So those of you joining me this evening, are you comfortable with cast iron? Is it something that you're not sure about yet? Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm learning as I
I
go.
love my cast
Yeah.
I think it's much more versatile than people realize.
When you know how to use it, for sure. Do you guys have now, Beth? I know you have just your regular regular cast iron. It's probably seasoned if it's been around for a while. Erin, do you have enameled or like a regular cast iron?
I don't know. I think it's regular. I got it
Enameled would be
like 4 or 5 years ago.
color.
Oh. Nope.
This would be like
Mine
black.
is like classic black.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have something like
Perfect. So we're going to be using both tonight because I know enameled cast iron is like the big thing right now too. A lot of people are going back to using, enameled cast iron Dutch ovens and different pieces like that. And I actually did not open up my enameled cast iron until our cookware sold out. And I was like, okay, I got to use what I'm going to sell to people. And I have fallen in love with it. And I just have to find where to keep it other than inside my oven to store it. So, but it can be stored in there. It's a little easier than some other things. So, okay, so tonight we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to make a few recipes this evening. And one is going to be Parmesan garlic bites. Okay, so these are super easy to make. And what you guys are going to do is you're literally just going to take your rolled Grand's biscuits or regular biscuits, and you're going to cut them. These are the big ones. So the big ones that come in 8, you're going to want to cut into 4. When you get the smaller ones that come in like a pack of 10, you'll cut those in half. And you're just going to take the dough and cut it into the pieces. And this is really a base dough ball for anything from garlic bites to like apple churro bombs, which are basically these rolled in cinnamon and sugar, and you can put like apple in the middle of them, apple filling. So you just cut them into forks, you roll them into balls. You could make them cheese bites too. So if you have like string cheese, the cheese sticks at home, you could cut that. And usually I'd cut one stick into 8 pieces, and then you literally would stretch this, put the cheese in the middle, and then roll the cheese inside. And those are some favorites right now at my house. We've made them like once a week.
Yeah, James would love that.
Yeah. You probably could make your own pizza bites too, put pepperoni in the middle. So nice little alternative to make things. And honestly, we're using them to kind of spice up our pizza nights or spaghetti nights. Like if you're doing just your regular spaghetti night and you're like, I kind of want something just a little extra special, this is super easy. And Grand's biscuits or biscuits in general that are the canned biscuits store so easily and they last pretty long. So it can be kind of one of your standard things to keep stocked in your pantry for those nights that you're like, we're just going to do spaghetti, but let's do something fun with it. Or we're just going to have some pizza, but let's maybe have a nice appetizer with it. So what we do the rolling here. Speed up this process a little bit. You are literally going to take about 1/4 cup of olive oil or canola oil. And I have mine in a little prep bowl here. And I personally like to use either I have a sweet basil rub or I have a garlic and herb rub from Pampered Chef. You can use fresh herbs if you want in it and press some fresh garlic into it. That's a really great recipe too. But again, I'm trying to show like if I wanted to do something quick, this is how I could do it. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon. I'm using sweet basil. So the sweet basil has garlic in it along with the basil. And I'm just going to pour it in to the mixture. I'm going to take the silicone basting brush and mix it into the bowl. And then I am using, so if you were going to do just like half a can of your 10 count Grand's biscuits, you would want to use like a 1 quart cast iron. I'm using a 2-quart cast iron baker because my family eats these like they're cool. So I'll make these. We have Thirsty Thursday after this. Dave and I will have them for our own little bedtime snack or whatever, and you can throw them in the fridge and eat them tomorrow. So the first thing that you'll do then is you'll take this oil mixture that you have and you'll put it on the bottom and just make sure there's enough oil on the bottom. You usually want a spoon. Probably if you're going to put it in the 2-quart, I would say 2 spoons of the oil mixture. If you are doing it in a 1-quart baker size, then it would be about 1 spoon of the mixture. And then I'm actually going to grab a spoon here. Then you would spoon about 4 things worth of oil onto the actual dough balls in a mixing bowl. And then you'll keep the rest for reserve. And then you just kind of mix them up in there. You can add fresh Parmesan, like you could grate up some fresh Parmesan, super easy to do. From it, I don't know, do you guys shop at Lidl and Aldi? That's like the cheapest place for cheese right now. And getting a fresh block of Parmesan is super, super simple to use and grate up. Plus, I just discovered this. You can grate your Parmesan, like your block of Parmesan, in the, well, at least in the Pampered Chef Deluxe cooking blender on the grind setting. And they actually, in Italian delis, grate Parmesan cheese in their blenders. So you just grate up a whole block of it at once, so you don't have to, do the grater each time. And you store it in a sealed container and put it in the fridge, just like you would if you had the, Kraft or green top Parmesan.
That's a nice little hack.
Yeah. So fresher probably doesn't have as many preservatives in it if you're trying to go for some clean eating. So that's an easy way to do it. Okay, so then you're going to take your dough balls and put them in this baker here. If you were making the apple churro one, you'd use butter, melted butter to put on top of these, and then you roll them in the cinnamon sugar mixture. And then you put them again in this kind of same fashion. You want them to be kind of spread out because they will expand as they cook. And we'll throw these in the oven for, it's literally about 15 minutes. So this will be quick. It can be that perfect appetizer for before dinner to munch on while you're making pizza, pasta, or you can serve it with dinner, or again, just an appetizer in general. It's a great option. Move that over. Okay, so oven at 425, and you're going to put them in the middle rack for about, I'm going to do 10 minutes and check on them, but you're going to want them with golden brown on the top, so it's usually about 15. And we have that ready to go. So do I have any questions so far about the dough, the garlic bites, the basil garlic bites and Parmesan garlic bites?
I think those are great ideas for appetizers or, book club or wine club or.
Yep. And I love that you can make as many as you want. Like you can make just a few and not have to use the whole can, or you can make a bunch at a time. So yeah, super easy. Okay, next step. We are now moving on to making a cast iron pizza tonight. So for those of you who do not know, I am originally from the Chicago area. So deep dish pizza is my thing. And I will argue till the death that deep dish pizza or Chicago pizza, even the thin crust, it really isn't thin crust, is like the best pizza in the world. I can't find anything like it. And unfortunately I've tried. So we have now discovered how to make some of our own deep dish pizza. And actually this is going to be more of a Detroit style deep dish, which is a little different from Chicago deep dish. Chicago deep dish traditionally has the sauce on top of the cheese, whereas the Detroit style does not. And Detroit style is going to also add Munster cheese. Okay, so Munster cheese is actually, oh my gosh, it is like the secret ingredient of pizzas. I don't even, you would have never thought that Munster cheese would have made that big of a difference.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Oh, you have not, it is delicious. So they sell it in slices typically. Food Lion and like Shoppers and stuff, they do sell it in blocks too. So that's what I use for the pizza, to grate it up. But honestly, if they've been out of the block, we literally just take the slices and break them up and throw them on the pizza. So
Wow.
yeah. So let me move this out of the way. So Parmesan, or not Parmesan, mozzarella cheese and Munster cheese are gonna be the two go-tos for this recipe. And then I'm gonna make mine with pepperoni, okay? So again, this is gonna be a super easy pizza recipe. And it's gonna take your canned pizza dough again. You can use your own like pizza dough mixture or a recipe when the pandemic hit and pizza dough and everything else was on the like fritz. I don't know where it was. Everybody was buying it all. The only
Yeah.
yeast that was left on the shelf a lot of times was the pizza crust yeast. So we actually made a lot of homemade pizza dough, and you could use that too. But again, for a quick factor, you can't help. You need to go up to that, but you can come say hi really quick. Yeah.
Hi.
So, there's one of my little ones. He loves to help in the kitchen. So usually,
What a good helper.
yeah. Up to bed, Tar. Go.
They've gotten so big.
I know.
He
So,
came running when he heard the word pizza.
like honestly, if you put me on camera and making this pizza with me, anything with me, he loves cooking. He's going to be one of my little chefs for sure. So yeah. Okay, so pizza crust is the rolled pizza crust again is what we're going to use tonight, and I'm just using your classic pizza crust. And all we're going to do is I'm just making sure that I have all this ready. Okay, so we're going to take the pizza crust and you're going to put it on a lightly floured surface. So I'm just going to use my wood cutting board here. I'm going to take a little bit of flour to sprinkle it on. You don't want too much flour because then it doesn't stretch as nicely. And you're gonna throw that on the cutting board. You're gonna open up your pizza dough, and this is the pizza dough that isn't circular, it's the square usually. So this is like the perfect shape, for the pizza that we need. And honestly, you have a square or mine's like a semi-square cast iron. You probably have, they make round ones as well. They make all different types. So you'll roll the pizza dough onto a lightly floured surface, and then you're gonna take our baker's roller. You don't have one of these. This is like the best thing ever. It's really for like pies and stuff, but for making like to get in those small areas or when doing pizza dough like this, it's so much easier than that big rolling pin. And it has the two sides. So it's also great for little pastries and things like that. So we're gonna roll this out a bit to make it to whatever your pan shape is. You'll start kind of putting that together. Mine's more of a squarish shape. So I'm gonna do that. I have it lightly floured on the bottom. And actually while I'm doing that, almost lost all my flour. Kitchen bloopers. I'm gonna turn on my cast iron on top of the stove because on this particular recipe, we are literally going to start cooking the dough a little bit early, and it gives that crisp outside. Because if you've ever made pizza before, particularly in a deep dish pan, sometimes the dough itself gets a little bit like soggy once you start adding the sauce or vegetables and things like that. So I found if I cook it on top of the stove for like 2 to 3 minutes before, that gives the dough just enough, it makes it just enough that it's going to keep everything in that dough and not make it soggy. So
I thought that's what you were going to do with the Parmesan bites. I thought you were going to brown them on the stove and then finish them in the oven.
yeah, no, those I don't need to because of the enameled cast iron itself.
Yeah.
Does a really good job at not having a lot of that moisture stay in the pan.
I like that. It makes the recipe that much easier.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so we have this heating up. I usually say you're gonna have that oil rubbed in it and you want your pan to be heated for about 2 to 3 minutes. So while that's heating up and stuff, I'm gonna have us move over here and start getting the cheese ready. I'm gonna show you our quick prep food grater. This is an amazing tool. It is big and bulky. I will be completely honest with you. Storage space is a little challenging. However, I make my own like cauliflower rice. You can grate broccoli, shaved Brussels sprouts, do cheese, grate carrot, cabbage if you want to make your own coleslaw or salad. There's endless opportunities and ideas that you can use this for. And especially if you're prepping ahead of time, it's got this really great big food catcher. It can do so much. Like when you have the bowl sometimes when you're trying to prep like onto a cutting mat and moving it over, it's just tedious. So anything that I can press the easy button on, even if it takes up a little more space in my cabinet, I know that I can prep a lot with this. So I'm just gonna put it in. It has 3 different grater settings. I have one of them on. And literally they are like rotisserie graters, and so they can screw and unscrew there. And then I'm gonna use my little food catcher because you don't want your blade to stab you. And then I'm gonna just push this under and turn it. I don't know if you guys can see that very well.
Yeah, I can see it
Yeah.
a little bit.
It looks fun.
Reminds me of the spiralizer.
Yeah. Again, super easy. If you get some chunks in there, you can pull them back out and put it through again. So again, with pizza, the cheese is gonna melt, so it's not that detrimental. So that has a nice amount of cheese for our recipe here. I'm cheating on the the mozzarella cheese tonight. I bought the pre-packaged stuff because I want to show you guys just the versatility of things and that you don't have to have every single tool in the book to make pizza.
Right.
Yeah, so there is that. And go ahead now and put the dough in the pan. And it's a little warm, so you're not going to want your pan to be super hot. But honestly, the dough is going to keep it there, and you can kind of start stretching it out then. And you can use this roller as a tool to move the dough to the sides. Is that great from where you are? But this is where you're going to get that big side crust. So the deep dish side crust. Roll it up. I'll show you guys this as soon as I'm done rolling. I'll lift up the pan. You can do the rolling before you put it on if you want to. This will take a little bit longer to get the dough crisp. My Parmesan bites. Oh, those are almost done. Another minute and then we're good. So I did 10 minutes at 425. That's like almost perfect. You'll see the tops are just nice and crisp on those. Okay, so with the pizza dough in the cast iron, you're gonna wanna do about 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll know that it's starting to get crisp because you'll see some bubbles start to form in the actual pan itself, like around in the dough part itself, okay? So get these sides up, and as you start adding stuff, the sides will, you'll be able to push the sides up too.
That's going to make a really nice presentation.
Yeah. Maybe that shows a little bit better. Don't have the best lighting. I'm a pampered chef, not a professional chef, so.
I love it.
That's what I like about your stuff. It's like practical at home with your kids, real life.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we are. Most people don't have time to do like culinary art stuff. I can show you some culinary art tips on a at-home mom budget.
There you go.
I like it.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Make sure I still, okay, cool. So I'm gonna pull out the Parmesan bites. Little microwave grippies here. I'll show you what it would look like coming out of this oven.
Oh my gosh, that looks so nice.
Isn't it pretty? It was so simple.
Dang, I wish I knew this last week before I went to book club.
Well, now you have a new recipe for when you move for your new book club.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the apple cinnamon ones would be great for brunch too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so I'm gonna take this now off the burner. You guys can kind of see that it's starting to bubble up and raise a little bit. You can see it steaming off.
Oh, yeah.
The dough itself has started to crisp up, and I don't want it to keep cooking. And then the quick prep food grater is awesome because it has little suction heat. Oh, you guys can't see me. Sorry about that. Okay. So, but it makes it kind of, you're gonna have to pull it off your counter for sure. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm gonna grab my pizza sauce from my blender over here.
Dang, you made your own pizza sauce?
Yeah, well, this was kind of by default tonight because I really thought I had pizza sauce in the pantry and I didn't. So
I was gonna say, you're really impressing me right now.
but it was super easy. A can of tomato paste, like a small can of tomato paste and a can of diced tomatoes. And then we have a new seasoning that's called Everything But Pizza. So I just did
Okay.
spoons of that. So
Oh, that's cute.
we'll see how it tastes. We'll see. So
Let me know.
puree setting, just threw it in the cooking blender and have it ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our pepperoni slices, and you're actually going to put these down first on top of the dough. Okay, so with the Detroit style pizza, you'll put whatever, if you're going to put meat down, you'll put either sausage or pepperoni or, you know, ground beef, whatever you use, ham first. And they say about 12 of them. Your own judgment. You don't have to have perfect count. You know, if your family likes a lot of pepperoni, add a lot of pepperoni.
Right.
We're just going to line the bottom with this. My husband loves pepperoni, so we often will put a lot. It'll be, he worked at a pizzeria when we, when he was growing up in our hometown. And so.
Does he approve of this cast iron pizza?
Oh, he loves it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Only we have a stone, like a deep dish stone that Pampered Chef no longer makes. And we do like to use that too. That was like the original way that, I mean, Pampered Chef's from the Chicago area. That's where they started. So
Oh, okay.
some deep dish pizza recipes, but cast iron is super easy to use. Okay, then you're gonna put the cheese. So you're gonna take about half the Munster cheese, and then half of the Parmesan cheese here. Again, a low moisture Parmesan cheese is that, or Parmesan, mozzarella. I don't know why I keep saying Parmesan. Mozzarella cheese is that, because again, if you have a high moisture one, then it gets really, like the grease kind of falls out of it. Now I will say we love fresh mozzarella on our pizza. You can slice it up and it's again, the taste is so different than typical shredded block.
Yeah.
But
it's just so watery.
It is. So you have to really slice it up and not put a ton on. And then you have to almost broil the top of it to get that kind of crisp brown pizza topping.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to take the pizza sauce, put it around. Put it around again, depending on how much pizza sauce your family likes. Ready to go. I'm actually going to take some Italian seasoning and sprinkle it on. Pampered Chef has a great Italian seasoning. If you're someone that's not sure about Pampered Chef rubs and spices, we actually have a new service called Taste Buds, and they come in these packets, and they come with recipe cards that go along with each of the spice packets, and there's enough to make like 2 or 3 recipes for you to try it rather than buy a whole bottle of the spice. So I think that's kind of,
Oh, that's a cute idea.
yeah. So this
Yeah,
one,
that's great. I like that.
yeah, gives you your recipe card. Not quite the grocery list yet. That's a suggestion we put in, but obviously you can make your grocery list from it. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning on the sauce there. Then I'm now, instead of putting another round of meat or pepperoni, now I'm gonna do the rest of the cheese, and I'm gonna stick with the Munster cheese first. And then using cast iron, the regular cast iron, not the enameled, I'm actually gonna turn my oven up to 500 degrees right now to bake this, okay?
Oh, okay.
Sounds hot, but that's gonna give you a really, really nice crisp crust, and it's gonna give that cheese that nice, like golden color to it. Okay, and we're gonna do some more mozzarella.
Yum.
I know. We have pizza night every Friday, so I said we'll make this tonight and we'll just put it in the fridge and reheat it tomorrow. So
Oh, nice.
Good plan.
Dinner is
for
done.
tomorrow night already.
yeah. Okay. And then the last step is going to be the pepperoni.
Okay, on top.
And again, as much or as little as you want. And then you can always sprinkle some Parmesan. You could sprinkle a little more seasoning. It's basil rub. Hold on one second. Basil rub is honestly delicious. We accidentally burnt a frozen pizza. Well, I should say we didn't burn a frozen pizza. We had burned stuff in our oven and I didn't clean it out before I made the pizza. And I was like, well, we have to make pizza tonight. So we're just going to deal with it. And so it was really smoky flavored, but we added the basil rub on top of it. It was just like a plain cheese oven pizza. And it really did well to mask that smoky flavor and gave the pizza itself, for being just your typical frozen baked pizza, some good flavor.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so this is on, and now we're gonna put this in for only 15 minutes. Okay.
500 degrees, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me move this out of the way. Some extra pizza sauce. This out of the way. This is where I need like a bigger kitchen because I need a bigger countertop by my oven. I have a pretty big.
I'm picturing you like having like the camera there and then like a camera over your oven so you can do like the bird's eye view of all of your recipes.
What actually Dave's like really working at trying to find that angle for our Thirsty Thursdays and workshops. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, 15 minutes and that one is going. Okay, I'm gonna move some stuff over and then we're gonna get the final recipe in our cast iron going. And this is gonna be our dessert. And this is gonna be a pear crisp in cast iron, okay? So this one's a really easy recipe. It can be adapted in lots of ways. You can make it an apple crisp, you can make it a pear crisp, you can make it in, a little cast iron, or even if you've seen those, we have like 5.5-inch cast irons that are like your regular one. You could split it into 2, and so each person could have their own little like dessert in the cast iron. You could make cookie skillets and individual brownies in this too. So, but we're going to use this. Again, this is the enamel cast iron. The difference between this is it has this enamel glaze on it. These ones are dishwasher safe, whereas your typical like cast iron is not. You're not going to want to use soap in your regular cast iron because otherwise you get rid of the seasoning. These ones have that enamel glaze, so they're already having the property to be able to be wiped out super easy and cleaned up. And
that's nice.
Yeah, but they have that heat, that high heat of cast iron, which gives a lot of crisp to crusts and to desserts like the pear crisp that we're going to make tonight. So we're gonna move that.
That's a nice size. I like that size.
Yeah, so I call this my Tiffany's blue one, but we have it in gray too. So that this one is a limited time. It's not, this one is out for host this month, the blue one, but it will be out for all customers next month, but the gray is already out. So
What size is that, Sam?
this is the 1 quart.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just super pretty.
Yeah.
Super pretty. So we have that going. Okay, so ready for the pear crisp. Pear crisp is super, super simple.
This one?
We're gonna take, there we go. Okay, we're going to take pears and we're going to core them. Let me get all my stuff, my mise en place, have everything in front of you, ready to go. Okay, so this is gonna take pears, pomegranate juice, you're gonna need flour, sugar, rolled oats, and you're going to want to have your pears cored and sliced. So I'm gonna show you a way to do this. We do have this thing called an apple peeler core slicer, and I love it. If you've ever seen one of those ones, you crank and it peels it and cores it and slices it at the same time. And I use that when I'm making like applesauce or apple pies or doing a lot of fruit at once. Actually, kids like eating it that way too. But I wanted to show you guys the core that they have, the old version of it. If you have this tool at home, they came out with a new version, and I'm going to tell you why I like the new version a little bit better. Is when you press it down, it has this release button for the core instead of having to try to slide the core off, which is sometimes challenging. So, and all you can do this with apples or pears or any fruits that you need to take the core out of, is push it. Hold on, I gotta get it ready to go. I'm gonna push it down. I should not be doing this on my glass stove top, but I am. Pull it out, and voila, the core is out. Okay, so then you can just slice it up. If you have kids that don't like the peel, you can always peel it first. But again, that's where the apple peeler core slicer might come into play. But for this one, we're going to keep the peel to give it some pretty setting there. And then we're going to pull it out. I did not go down far enough on that one. There we go. And the pear is out. And then all we're gonna do is take this, cut the pear in half now that it's cored. And we're gonna take what I call the quick slice. And you guys have probably seen me use this. If you watch any of my videos, you can pretty much slice anything with this. Strawberries, tomatoes, peppers.
I use mine all the time.
Yeah. So you now have another purpose for it. You can do your apples, and that will be ready. And then actually I'm gonna take them. You want to use a rocking motion because it's a serrated blade. So that's gonna help you get through it just like you would if you were doing a tomato. Oh, you can do tomatoes with it. Mozzarella cheese too. If you buy the fresh mozzarella cheese, this is the one to use for that.
That's how I make my caprese. I just use that with mozzarella and tomatoes and done.
Yep. Mushrooms. So anybody that has the old Egg Slicer Plus, they still make that, but this is basically the Egg Slicer Plus on steroids. Erin, have you used it for grapes yet?
No.
Who's not really a baby anymore, but.
Does it work well on grapes with the skin and everything?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. Okay, so I'm putting the pears in with 1 tablespoon of flour and 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna throw that in there. And then the recipe calls for cinnamon, nutmeg, and I am just going to use, had it out earlier. If you have Pampered Chef Cinnamon Plus, this is a great time to use it. But if you don't, again, cinnamon and nutmeg. These full recipes I will send you, so don't worry about the amounts on these. But it's like 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then you're going to use a half a cup of pomegranate juice. I just bought in like a regular jug or container. I'm going to mix this up, coat the pears with the toppings there. The pomegranate juice is also going to help the pear from browning. So if you ever are doing apple pies or pears or anything like that, pomegranate juice or like a citrus juice. So that's why a lot of times they have you put lemon in your apple pies, because it helps keep that apple from browning and gives it a little bit of that flavor. And if you ever cut up apples or pears and want them to not brown, like you can store them in the fridge, I would just sprinkle or mix them up with like a citrus juice like lemon or orange. Okay, so that part is done. We're gonna go ahead and put this into a 1 quart baker. Move those pears around a bit. And then the topping, I already mixed up, but this is 1/4 cup of rolled oats, 1/4 cup of flour, and 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then again, cinnamon and nutmeg. Okay, so that's gonna be the top part. So you're just gonna sprinkle over the top. And then you're gonna add 4 tablespoons of chilled butter. Okay, so this one, I'm literally gonna take these out in the pad, the tablespoon. So if you have your butter in your package already, you probably already know that there's lines that indicate where the tablespoons are. And I'm gonna cut this up into 4 parts. And I'm gonna put it in 4 separate spots here on my breakfast. So when the pizza is done, we are going to take that and put the oven back down to 425 and bake that again for about 15 minutes. So that is literally super easy. If you were wanting to make it along with these, you could prepare them both from in the oven at the same time and then throw the pizza in wrap. You could do the pizza first and vice versa. So the pizza has about 6 minutes left on it. And it is actually looking pretty good right now. I'm gonna pull that out. Let's see that.
Yeah, you could pull it out and even just finish baking it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. And this one actually baked very quick. So we're done. This is done already. So
That looks amazing.
that was about 10 minutes in the oven, and that is done. So wow, that was good timing. I guess I can put the bacon now. 425 start. I'm gonna put pear crisp in. I put this on the bottom rack, and it's actually looking a little crispy. I have to look out to people because that usually doesn't crisp up that quickly, but maybe I had it in the pan cooking a little too much when I was rolling it out. So, but it still looks delicious. You can see the dough on the side. It's definitely not burnt. It's like that perfect brown color. No.
Yum.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that is about it for the cast iron cooking vessels tonight. Do I have any questions about the recipes that were used this evening?
What other kind of fruit did you say that you've used other than pear?
Apples. You could do peaches too, do like a peach cobbler in there. There's actually a really great peach cobbler recipe, I believe, for the 10-inch cast iron too. So that's one that you could make in a bigger size too.
Right, that's great.
Yeah. I mean,
Are the Pampered Chef like seasoning spices and stuff, are they labeled pretty clearly for food allergies?
yes. So they're
Okay.
gluten-free, dairy-free. They are very they are for sure all gluten-free.
Okay.
And There are quite a few that are dairy free, and there are some that I would call keto friendly, in that they don't have the MSG in it, I believe is what it is.
Okay.
So yeah, and if you have any questions about them, if you go to the Pamper Chef website, it says, like, you can pull up the spice, pull up use and care under the spice, and it shows you every single ingredient in it, and then it will say, gluten free, dairy free, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
And then I have an unrelated question.
Yeah.
Were your spice racks Pampered Chef, or are they from somewhere else? Because I might want them.
I see my Amazon spice racks here.
Okay. Those are nice.
Yeah. I have a lot of spices in there, so they fit tall and short, but they don't fit the big fat ones. So,
Okay.
yeah. Awesome. Okay, so do I have any more questions about cast iron, the recipes, any tools? Okay, cool. If anybody has anything, feel free to drop it in the chat. So again, to kind of wrap up the workshop, this was for Alice's kids. If you guys are just joining us, I will make sure to send you information about Alice's kids. It's a really great organization based out of Mount Vernon, Virginia, which is near Alexandria, Northern Virginia area. And it helps kids and students in the area to get big and little things, from prom dresses to Beth shared paying for senior dues, to if a kid gets referred that maybe needs a new pair of shoes, they'll send a gift card to the parent to help them go pick out a new pair of shoes or a bike or something that they need. And it's all by referrals. It's not like someone can just go in and sign up. It's that somebody that knows this family or student would need to refer them or put their name into to Alice's kids. So really neat organization that I'm so excited that I learned about it, because it is pretty close to home and really helps out people locally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, I will be sending out a link with the recipes and all the tools we used this evening. I'll also send out the link if there's any tools that you want to add to your kitchen. Again, at least 20% is going to be of the sales goes to Alice's kids. And if there's more sales, then we will hopefully get to be able to donate a little bit more than that. But if you
Sam, how long will that Alice's Kids fundraiser be open via that link?
I'll keep it open till the end of the month.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll probably order later after we're done with our move so I can ship it to the new address.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to go ahead and, yeah. So if anybody's watching the replay, let us know, share with your friends. And again, share a great cause. Check out the link about Alice's Kids if you want to know more on how you can support them. I know they're also doing I think it's a stand-up comedian this weekend that you can purchase tickets that will also support them. So a virtual one, of course. So yeah. So okay.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Sam.